Welcome in, everybody. How you doing today? I will have Jay Raider on with me from Just Raiders, baby, in a few moments. He's going to take care of his kiddos. So him and I are doing this joint venture today. Um, I have it set up in the background right now, just waiting for them to actually get to that point. I know Raider Paul said I'm 20 minutes late. No, I'm not. Um, I wasn't going to start it until they get ready. My mic is low. God dang it. Oh, all right. Yeah, I didn't want to do the whole start at the beginning when they did all the stuff they're doing right now, where they're just sitting around talking. Um, we'll wait until they start the actual process. So let's check and see who's in the chat with us right now. So we have Big Lux in the house. Robert Pena's in the house. Raider Paul's here. Raider Pete's in the house. What's going on, my guys? Ja Raider. I want to say something. People compare Kubiak to McDaniels. Like, horrible take. Kubiak been around leaders, his dad alongside Bill Musgrave, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Zimmer, McDaniels. Only been with Bill Belichick and Poss. No, actually, just Belichick. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. Anybody else popped in? Cool Kev's in the house. What's up, Cool Kev? AO's here. Gaya's here. What's up, my guys? Welcome in. Welcome in. You can see the phone numbers posted. Oh, there's Boston X. What's up, man? The phone number is posted at the bottom. If you will call it now, I'm not 20 minutes late, Paul. They started 20 at 1:30, but it's all the preliminary crap they're doing. I don't want to watch that right now. Look, Jay's here now. You ready, Jay? There he is.
Yo.
Nope. The phone number's down the bottom of the screen. If you call it now, you can leave a voicemail. It's not open to take active phone calls now. I'm going to open it up once the press conference is over, and we'll be able to, bring you on live through the phone. Just obviously your voice. So if anybody wants to come on at the end and say something, call that number. It's one call at a time. First come, first serve. And yeah, we'll get into this. I'm excited. Now I'm officially excited. Last week, it kind of came out that the GM dropped the hint that he's going to be going to Vegas. I was I'll still wait. Now I'm officially excited. He said it walking off the field Sunday night, and then when I saw him get off the plane yesterday, I was like, okay, now we're good. Now I can be at ease. What do you think?
Oh man, I'm pumped, bro. I mean, shit, I did a 2.5 hour live yesterday, just talking about Klint Kubiak and the future of the Raiders. So, I think this was a long day coming, and like I said yesterday, this could have went different ways. At one point, we thought it was going to be a different guy, and we heard this other name come out, and we even questioned if Kubiak even wants to come here, or is he going to stay in Seattle, and all that. And finally, we get our question answered. Literally on Super Bowl Sunday, he let the cat out of the bag early, which is great. He put a lot of Raider Nation's minds at ease, and now we get to go ahead and celebrate, our new coach in the building. And this is a coach that a lot of people wanted, and again, I say, we got to exercise patience. Year one is not going to look good. It's not going to look pretty. It's going to look better, but it's still not going to look pretty. So,
no,
it's going to be a multi-year rebuild. It's going to take a while. So,
yeah, and that's what fans have to come to grips with. It. This isn't going to be a miracle overnight thing. Mo Val's in the house. What's up, Mo Val?
So, Mo Val.
Let's see. Oh, Leo's in the house. What's up, Leo? What's going on, my guy? He said something here. There it is. Leo said, last year, cool, was old and stale. Let's hope this year's new Kool-Aid flavor isn't bad also. I mean, I was on the excitement level last year. This one, you know what it is? I think because it's so fresh in your mind right now, because he just coached this past season. You saw what he did with Seattle and how well they played. And my biggest thing from this weekend's game was how well that offense adjusted in starting the second half. And that's what I wanted to see. I know when 805 was on with me during the game before it started, I said to him, I said, I want to see how these two teams adjusted at the second, the start of the second half. Who comes out hot, who comes out cold. And Patriots came out flat and cold. And granted, Seattle only got a field goal out of that drive in the second half, but they still moved the ball kind of freely down the field and then just got stalled.
Yeah.
But it was still exciting to see. That gave me even more hope going into this season. So I'm looking forward to the changes that are going to be coming because there's going to be a lot of changes.
Oh yeah, and like I was saying yesterday, expect to see a lot of coaching hire names like being dropped or coordinators and coaches. Probably by the end of this week's, and definitely going into next week. I mean, we're already kind of up behind the 8 ball, so we're just gonna have to go ahead and play catch up. And with the combine literally being like 2 weeks away, um, everything is like coming up really, really quick. So we're behind. I mean, that's what happens when you had to wait for a guy like Klint Kubiak, who just won the Super Bowl, granted, but now we have to kind of go ahead and play catch up. So I'm excited to hear the new names are going to be coming into the building, and with a lot of people gone.
They're doing the countdown now. See it running in the background.
Yeah, let me go ahead and I'm trying to pull up too. Quick.
Dude, I was probably the happiest person in the nation watching the game. So me being mad is not true. I just wish it was market going into Monday and going, yeah, that's the one thing I miss about it, dude, is not be able to walk into work the next morning after they lose. People, you guys, Frank Webb is in the house. What's up, Frank?
So Frank,
Well, let's feel the body language. It did look awkward last year. Actually, I think nothing looked more awkward than McDaniels and Ziegler. That press conference was just gross. Now we have a real forward, not a stopgap. No one exactly. Less than an hour. What the hell is he talking about?
what happened?
This guy that's talking right now.
Uh-huh.
That's at the press conference. In less than an hour, we'll have. It'll be less than an hour.
Should happen pretty soon, I think.
So you saw that it was a 5-year contract, right? You said.
Yeah, Adam Schefter put it out that it's going to be a 5-year contract. So
Did they put anybody say any money value on this? That's still
no, and usually they won't put like any money value behind it, just because it doesn't count against the cap. So that's coming directly from like ownership.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go ahead and share that because we never knew Pete's contract. I think we estimated like around 15. I could be mistaken. I never found out what Pete's contract was.
I like the fact that if the contract is true, it's a flat 5 years. It's no like 3 years and a fourth-year option or 4 years with a fifth-year option. It's just straight boom, 5 years. So
Yeah.
that shows to me, as long as everything goes the way it should, they committed to him for 5 years, and then beyond that too. Obviously, it would be great.
Yeah.
You know. just wish they'd start this damn thing, man. They do drag this shit out, don't they?
I think so. Hold on, I'm trying to get to there as well.
Because right now they're just sitting out on the practice field, still talking.
Are you gonna show it?
Huh?
Are you gonna show it when it actually starts?
Yeah, as soon as they start it, it's just I don't know if this will count anything against us. Like,
I don't think so. I think it'll be.
it's on the Raiders network.
Yeah, I think because it's on the Raiders network, I think it'll be fine. If anything, like I always said, like I said yesterday, hey, if you see some parts cut out, sorry, you gotta make sure you jump into the live, you know.
It's still not working. The stream element thing, it's not working right. It's pissing me off. Thought I had that command set. Apparently not. Now they're talking about free agents available, wide receivers. They got Pickens, Pierce, Evans, Debo, Juwan. Oh, they already took it off the screen. Cool pitch. I was guessing $40 million for 5 years. Yeah, I guess that would work. I don't think that's that far off. Let's see, assuming it's Mendoza and Aiden O'Connell, and Gino is as good as gone. Who's the third QB going to be? Is Daniel Jones, Kubiak, or is Daniel Jones, Kubiak, or Brady's QB type? We'd have three big dudes at QB. And I agree. I think I agree with yeah. I honestly think Gino stays for now. What's your take on that? I just can't see us outright cutting him.
But Gino?
Yeah, you're talking 18 million to hit.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, well, we save 8, so we save 8. I mean, 18 is kind of a drop in the bucket. Have you used the that GM mode on PFN? So when you do it, it does increase like the cap pretty.
Oh, I haven't
pretty
played around.
Significant. Yeah, pretty significant.
I tried doing it, but I kept fucking things up, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but honestly, it's just better to get you out. You know, I said yesterday, for me, you run the risk of poisoning the well.
Buddy, and thank you for attending today's press conference. We'll begin by welcoming some Raiders legends to the dais. First, a 9-time Pro Bowl selection, Super Bowl 18 champion, and Pro Football Hall of Famer Mike Haynes. Next, a 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowl selection, and the 2002 NFL Most Valuable Player, Rich Gannon.
You know, we didn't do the draft winning out of great grades.
Next, an 8-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl 18 champion, and Pro Football Hall of Famer, Howie Long.
Oh, no shit. I was happy to
Next, a 9-time Pro Bowler, NFL Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, and a Pro Football Hall of Famer, Charles Woodson. Next, an NFL Rookie of the Year and Most Valuable Player, the Most Valuable Player of Super Bowl 18, the Raiders' all-time leading rusher, and a Pro Football Hall of Famer, Marcus Allen. Next, an NFL Comeback Player of the Year, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and the Most Valuable Player of Super Bowl 15, Jim Plunkett. Now I'd like to introduce Raiders General Manager John Spytek.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming on a special day for this organization. I want to thank all the great Raiders sitting up here with me right now. It's an honor to share this stage with them, and we really appreciate. I know Mark really appreciates, and it really means a lot to him that they made the effort to come here today. And I think this is a unique. It needs to be acknowledged that this is a uniquely Raider thing. I mean, this is what makes this place special. So I appreciate all you guys for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come up here. I want to thank Mark Davis for entrusting me to lead this process to find our next head coach here with the support of Egon, Mike, Tom Brady. I'm really proud of the process that we put in place. We set out to take our time, to be deliberate, to be meticulous, to find the right leader for this organization going forward. We have a uniquely challenging offseason with the first overall pick and new leadership at the head coach, but that's why it was so important to us to find the right man to lead this organization forward. And we interviewed 22, we had 22 interviews, 15 different really quality people that we talked to. They were awesome to talk to. We learned a ton, bunch of great humans, a bunch of great coaches. But ultimately that led us to Coach Klint Kubiak to be the next leader. We had to be patient. We had to let him go win a Super Bowl, which we were more than willing to do. So we're super proud of him for accomplishing that. And, you know, he stood out with his leadership, with his humility, with his work ethic, with his intelligence. We called many people around the league and got glowing reviews on him too. So it made it a difficult but easy decision for us. And I'm really proud to welcome him to Raider Nation as a partner. There's a lot of great things ahead. He can't wait to get to work. We have told him that he is going to go celebrate his Super Bowl tomorrow. So he's going to take a one-day hiatus here and go be in a parade, but he'll be back ready to work Thursday. So with that, I want to thank again the ownership group for entrusting me with this, and I want to welcome Klint Kubiak as our next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
There we go.
Morning, everybody. Really excited to be here. Just want to first off and just want to thank God for the opportunity to sit in front of you guys today. You know, God had a plan for this day that I could never have seen, and I'm just grateful. I want to thank the ownership group. I want to thank Mark. Okay, I want to thank Tom, Egon, Michael. I'm just so grateful for you guys giving me a chance to get to know me better and to give me a chance to come be a part of leading this franchise. I'd like to thank all the players that are here, current and former. It means a lot to me to be surrounded by these great Raiders, and I know that Mr. Davis takes care of his own better than anybody in the league. So that's evident. That's the reputation that this building has, and that's something that I want to definitely continue to do, is to welcome the old Raiders and to make sure that our players feel supported by them. I want to make sure that I thank my family. Where are you guys at? All right. Hey, what's up? My wife, Tessa, Sawyer, Lane, Case, William, just very grateful for your support. We've moved a lot, guys, and it means the world to me that you guys have supported me and have stuck with me, and we've got a lot closer through all these trials and tribulations. But like I said first, I think there was a master plan behind all this that none of us could have known. So thank you guys for being here. I want to thank my mom and dad. I want to thank Tessa's mom and dad, Kathy Nelson, and her late father, Bill, who I know is watching up in heaven today, and Tessa's brother, Drew, and all their support. I want to thank John Spytek for giving me this opportunity. I know there's a lot of candidates out there, and I know they went through and did their homework, and just spending time with John, I know how important it is for us to have a really great relationship, and just getting to know him a little bit better. I'm really excited about how we're going to communicate and how we're going to lead this building together. I want to thank the interview panel, Mark Thews and Brian Stark, amongst many others. Thank you for your professionalism and for your hard questions that you gave me. I want to make sure that I thank the Seattle Seahawks, John Snyder and Mike McDonald, all the players and coaches there. This day doesn't happen without me getting a chance to be a part of that culture and all the things I learned from those men. I want to give a special shout out to Ken Walker, the MVP of the Super Bowl, who I didn't see after the game. So K9, if you're watching, man, way to go. Proud of you, brother. Really proud of you and all your teammates. I'm going to go see those guys tomorrow for the parade and then hurry back here and get to work. But guys, I got all these notes prepared and I've never been really good at that. The main thing is this is no ordinary job. This is the silver and black. This is the Raiders. This is a historic franchise. So, when the opportunity came up to stay in Seattle and continue there, or to have a chance to come here and compete with this organization, it was a no-brainer. I grew up obviously watching a lot of Broncos football. All right, going against the Raiders twice a year, and the grit of this franchise sticks out. When you hear the autumn wind as a Raider, I can hear that in my mind growing up. Watching NFL films and seeing these guys next to me play. Seeing Howie Long and Jim Plunkett. It's pretty powerful to be sitting up here with you guys, and I just want you to know that those values that that you guys played with, that's what we're going to play with. It's really important to me that it's really important to me that we're a gritty team, that the way that they were back in the old days. And how do we do that? Well, it's our silent tape. It's nothing that we say, it's what we do on the field, and it's what the silent tape speaks about our team, how physical we are, our effort, all the little things that win that have nothing to do with scheme. So really excited to get to work with you players, and excited to go turn your tape on, see what you guys are about right now, and then go see how we can get better together. But to be a head coach in the NFL, it is a real blessing. But to be the head coach of the Raiders, it's something that I'm very excited for. When you say commitment to excellence, okay, and you look at the walls around here, you look at the players on this wall, and there's a history of Hall of Fame players here. There's a history of Super Bowls, and that's what the ultimate goal is. But you have to be about the work if you want to get there. And I guarantee you that myself and our staff, we're going to be about the work, and we're going to be very collaborative with the personnel staff, the coaching staff. We're gonna work together so that we're a connected group, because connected teams win. There's plenty of other things to say, guys, but this is not a day to go out and cash checks. This is a day to say hello and get to know everybody. I get to know that these, the players that are here, for me to get to know everybody, because guys, I just got done coaching about 2 days ago, so I got a lot to catch up on, but I'm really thankful for John for letting me come in here and have this opportunity. And I just, I can't tell you guys enough how excited I am and how grateful I am and how blessed I feel to be sitting in this room. So, let's get the questions going. All right.
Now we'll open it up for questions. We have microphones in your aisle, so please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation with your question. We'll start with Ryan over here.
See him now, Brandon, all the guys.
Ryan McFadden, ESPN. This question is for Klint. Just could you put in perspective what the past 24 hours or so has been like, that you go from, winning the Super Bowl to now you're here being introduced as the head coach of the Raiders? What has these past 24 hours been like for you?
Well, it's been a lot of fun. It's been great. The Super Bowl itself, was a 2-week grind to get ready for that game and just pour your heart and soul into that game plan to see our players go out and have that success. And that's why you do it. That's why you coach. That's why you play. That's to go win a world championship. So that was a complete blessing. And to get on the airplane and come meet everybody in this short period of time, it's exciting. But all these things, all these smiles, eventually that kind of wears away, and then you got to go get to work. And that's what I'm excited about doing, is going to watch some tape and get to know these players better and put together a great coaching staff.
Yeah. And for John, this question for you, John, just like when studying Klint Kubiak, just what about his scheme and how he runs the offense, why do you think that that fits what you're trying to do moving forward for this organization?
Well, I think Klint's said it well. It's less about scheme and more about the person. You know, we were very thoughtful about how we approached this and the kind of coach and man that we were looking for to lead this organization on a day-to-day basis. I mean, he talks to the players every day. The players are our most important part of this organization right now. And, you know, when we got to speak with him the first time on Zoom, when he was trying to prepare for the 49ers, and then again in Seattle when he was trying to prepare for the Super Bowl, he just was the right person. And the fact that he can score a lot of points is awesome too. But we were more focused on the person, the humility, the work ethic, those traits above scheme.
Clint, Hondo Carpenter on this side right here. You didn't have to come here. Seattle wanted you to stay. Other teams wanted you. So what did ownership and John say to you that convinced you were the guy to bring back the excellence these 6 men represent?
Yeah, I think over two separate interviews, I just got very comfortable with John and Mr. Davis and the ownership structure. And it's really they didn't have to say much. This is the Raiders. You know, this is one of the most historic franchises in the NFL with a great history that I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of furthering that history. So I think the Raiders really sold itself, but having those 2 different interviews and getting more comfortable with the men in the room went a long way.
Hey, Clint. Obviously, John pointed out that you guys had the first pick overall in the NFL draft. I know it's still relatively early in that process, but what are your thoughts on Fernando Mendoza and how big did that play into this decision for you?
Well, I think just the resources that the Raiders have, this building, obviously having cap space, having the first pick, those all go into the decision. And as far as who the first pick is going to be, we got a lot of tape to watch before we determine who that's going to be. But I'm excited to get into that process. But yeah, kind of going back to the last 2 questions, there's just a lot to love about this organization. Look around this building and the resources that we have, our meal room, the weight room, the fields outside, the coaches' offices. I mean, it's as good as it gets in the NFL. Been in a lot of buildings for good reasons and bad reasons. Been hired and fired, and the resources are here. We just got to go put it all together.
Clint, to your right here. Willie Ramirez with the Sporting Tribune. You spoke about what the Raiders said to you to bring you here, but you'll be the 6th coach since they've arrived in Vegas. You look at the looks on these Raider greats, look on their faces, the demeanor and the meaning of this organization. Why are you the right guy to sustain and stay here being the 6th coach since, again, that they've arrived in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I think, earning the trust of the building is a daily process. All right. So that's something that I've always been about, and I love earning people's trust, and I got to earn these guys' trust. It's not just going to happen to me sitting up at a podium. So that's something that's a process. That's a process. And that's a great challenge. Yeah. There have been plenty of other coaches, but why not us? Why not this staff? Why not this group of players? So if you look at it in the lens of, there's a history of some, guys that are in and out of here pretty quick. I look at it as, what a great challenge. Like that's what the NFL is all about, is competing. So I'd love to go compete here and go get it done. It's going to be a process, and but we're gonna be about the work, like I said. So it's a very exciting opportunity.
Clint, Levi Edwards, Raiders.com. A couple of days ago, you made history with you and your father being the first father-son duo to win the Super Bowl as coaches. So now you're the head coach, and obviously he's a Super Bowl winning head coach. What are some values and things that he instilled in you as a coach and as a man that you feel are going to prepare you for this position?
That's really cool. I don't know. Is that a real stat? Is that a real deal? I never heard that one. Because 10 years ago, I was at that game watching him win it all. I was coaching at the University of Kansas, and I got to see the smile on his face after the game, give my mom a hug, and give his mom a hug who had recently passed. And just to share that moment with him is something, I know I'll never forget. And then to see him after the game on the same field and just see the smile on his face was a great memory. And as far as the lessons learned, the thing about my dad is that when I was growing up, he never made it about sports or football. He always talked about everything other than that, about, being a good person, about being respectful. He showed me what it means to be a great husband and a great father. So those are the things that I want to emulate with him. Football will take care of itself, but the family values is what my dad is all about, and him and my mom. That's what I'm grateful for.
Klint, to your right over here. Jesse Merrick with Silver and Black Sports Network. Kind of along that same lines. I know you joined Mike up there in Seattle in his second season, but that was a guy that came into a new role for the first time as the head coach. What are some of the things that you took away from him about what it takes to build a franchise that you think can help you here?
Well, number one is that he's just himself. Doesn't try to be like anybody else. Didn't try to be like Jim Harbaugh. He was Mike McDonald, and he was very convicted. And we all could feel that from him, and wanted to follow his lead. I also saw him be so collaborative with the building, and how closely he worked with the general manager and the owner, and just how clear the communication was. We were all on the same page. He had a vision, and he was the same guy from April to February, and that's something that I'll definitely take with me.
Hey, Clint. Paul Gutierrez here from Raiders.com. You got the 3 Super Bowl trophies of the franchise in front of you. You got Hall of Famers. You've got MVPs. You got Super Bowl MVPs surrounding you. How daunting or how welcoming is it to be in this situation you're in right now with all of these things surrounding you and with that standard set?
Oh, it's not daunting at all. It's a blessing. That's what you want to be. That's what I want our players to want to achieve. I want them to see these guys, be surrounded by these guys, because that's what their goals should be. They win Super Bowls. The MVPs and Hall of Fame, that takes care of itself when the team wins. So that's what we're going to be about, winning.
Klint, in talking to players that you've coached, men of faith and not, you referenced God when you opened, they talked about your faith as part of the bedrock of how you coach and why that they felt you were trustworthy. Could you let us in on that, and how your faith impacts you as a coach, please?
Yeah, it's very, very simple. For me, is that my identity, I see my identity as a child of God. I know that I'm sitting here right here because of Jesus Christ. And it wasn't always that way. I've had some great mentors that helped me know the Gospels better. And I just, my goal is to live out the 10 Commandments and the Beatitudes and let those values show through in my coaching. And I fall short of that a lot, but I always go back to my, back to the building blocks, which is to me the Bible.
Kirk Morrison here, former player, Silver and Black Productions. For you, Clint, you've been around some of the great defensive minds in the NFL, whether it's Mike Zimmer, Dennis Allen, obviously Mike McDonald, head coach in Seattle. What do you envision the defensive coordinator looks like for this football team, and how's that process going to play out?
Yeah, I'm in the weeds of it right now, man. So, we're identifying candidates and going to be contacting guys and bringing them in. But I think whoever that coach is, it'll be really important that, we establish a style of play, a physical style of play. And that's offense and defense. So I'm just way more worried about how our guys play than opposed to the X's and O's of it all. That's part of our job as coaches, is to scheme guys and help them be put in the best positions. But I want to make sure that we have a DC that is that's coaching effort first and technique, and the guy that's going to rip into somebody if they're not finishing in practice, because that's what helps you win. In February, it's not the X's and O's. They got 17 games of tape on you. It's about how hard you guys play.
Taylor Rocha, KTNV. How do you balance the will to win with the rebuild and player development?
Whether it's a rebuild, whether you're on a returning roster with Super Bowl aspirations, to me, the work doesn't change. Preparation doesn't change. Every team next year is going to start off undefeated at 0-0. So to me, it doesn't change much. Obviously it's what you identify your team needs in the offseason, player acquisition wise. And then once April 15th starts, we're all on the same plane.
Hi, Clint. Heidi Fang, Las Vegas Review-Journal. I've seen your work at Christian McCaffrey as well as Alvin Kamara, and I'm wondering what excites you about working with a player like Ashton Genty and helping to build his future.
Yeah, where you at, Ashton? What's up, dude? Man. Very excited about his skill set and what he brings. I got a lot of tape to catch up on, dude, but I saw you play a lot of snaps at Boise. Very excited about his talent. But the thing I would tell him and all his teammates is that it's not just about one guy. We got to get the line on the same page. We got to get our quarterback to get the right run checks. We got to get our receivers to go block for him. All right, so that we can get the play action going. But as soon as our players can realize, that it's a team thing, it's not an individual thing, we're going to be successful. I know we have those type of guys in our building right now.
Harry Ruiz with the Spanish radio broadcast for the team. When you look at Brock Bowers, what's the first thing that comes into mind as being an offensive coordinator from the Super Bowl champs and now wanting to use him the best way possible?
Yeah, where's Brock at? Yeah, I saw him earlier. Brock's already put it on tape, from Georgia to his first couple of years here in the league. He can be one of the best receivers in the NFL, not just receiving tight ends. So looking forward to working with him and continue to build on his skill set. Really impressive player.
You've been with your dad on the opposite side in the division. Now, what would you want to say to Raider Nation now that they're all on your side? They're all excited to have you in the building wearing silver and black.
Yeah, I'll just tell the Raider Nation that, hey, like I said earlier, we have to earn your trust. We gotta earn those seats in the stands by putting a great product on the field. And words will not do it. It's our actions.
Hi, Coach Alexibel Castro, Deuce 3. I have to go back to your opening statement where you said your journey has taken you exactly where you're meant to be. Because after being a grad assistant, you worked in the oil industry for a few weeks before you got that call that you never expected. So if you could go back and tell that kid that you were going to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders one day, what do you think you would say?
Yeah, that's what's just so cool about today. There was a path that was set out in front of me that I didn't realize I was heading to. But I knew that when you're where your feet are every day, you're trying to bloom where planted. You're trying to be the best at your job, and good things tend to happen. So that's kind of been my journey, is just to try to be the best at my job that day. And then, then you get a chance to, you get promoted with more tasks. You get to draw the pass pictures. All right, now you did an okay job of that. You get to break down the tape. All right, we'll let you talk to the fourth string quarterback today. All right, you did a good enough job there. All right, we'll let you lead a meeting, and you just keep, trying to do the best where you're at, and let the rest, take care of itself.
You've imagined this role for a few weeks now, but yesterday you stepped in the building for the first time and as head coach. What can you see from the inside that you can't see from the outside? What did you feel?
I've been here before. I came here. We practiced against the Niners a few years ago. We saw the the structure here and what this all the resources that are in this building. Mr. Davis has set us up to have success there. Now it's about us, going and lifting all those weights and using that field, and using those meeting rooms, because everybody's got players, everybody's got resources, and now it's about finding those edges and seeing how we can bring our team together, be connected to go produce a winner.
Clint again, Willie Ramirez with the Sporting Tribune. Obviously, Mike knew you had a couple of interviews leading up to the Super Bowl, but in these last 48 hours, has there been a conversation, some special moment? And if you wouldn't mind, the words or the sentiments that were shared in terms of his well wishes for you?
Whose well wishes? Who's that?
Mike.
Coach. Question, can you repeat that one?
Just his, if you don't mind sharing the words or sentiments that he may have shared in these last 24, 48 hours in terms of if there were any well wishes or they hate to see you go, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact words, but before every game, Mike, gives me a bro hug and said, "Turn it loose." So that's probably what he said.
Coach Alex Eshelman with KTNV over here. Congratulations. I'm kind of going off of Alexa's question about the oil fields company. You mentioned that what brought you back into coaching when you were telling that story was you got a call from a player, and that was kind of the moment that solidified to you that you wanted to become a coach. Along with that, I loved the story about you gifting your players Bibles. Just describe how rewarding it is to you to develop players, and where do you get that passion from?
Yeah. You know, the whole oil field story, probably getting it overblown, because I want my old boss to know, like, I still appreciate the job he let me have. I feel like they're getting raw into the deal here. But, you know, long story short is I was a GA for 3 seasons, and, you know, you're trying to make, what's your next move going to be? You got to figure out what you're going to do with your life. And, you know, I was married with Tessa. We didn't have any kids yet. And I just kind of felt like I was letting the family down. I wouldn't make any money. And so I wanted to go try something new. Anyway, I was at that, you know, that job for a few weeks, and just quickly realized how much I missed being a part of a team, you know, and the reason that I love to coach is to see players get better and see them have success. You know, you get to work with the best athletes in the world, and to be able to help them get better and help them, you know, realize their goals. You know, that's why you do it. You know, to sit on that field a couple of days ago, you know, in Santa Clara, and being around guys that we've been coaching since April, and just to see the joy on their face, that's why you coach, you know. So relationships are really important in any business, but especially in football. To, you know, you kind of, when you're in the fire with somebody every day and there's so much adversity, those bonds just get so much tighter, you know, and everyone up here knows what that's like. And you don't realize that until you're on a team that doesn't win as much. You know, when you're coaching guys, and you're, you know, you win 5 games, but on the last game of the year, you know, you're not going to the playoffs, but those guys are fighting their tail off for you, and you're trying to go knock out Tampa Bay out of the playoffs a couple of years ago with the Saints. You know, we didn't get it done, but like, that's what it's all about, you know, is trying to help people get better.
Coach Chris Matthews with the CBS affiliate here in town. Just kind of wondering, as a new head coach, and the Raiders having the #1 pick in that draft upcoming here, and the speculation is it'll be Fernando Mendoza as a quarterback. Just your thoughts on the #1 pick, the new head coach, the opportunity, Mendoza. Just your thoughts on that whole thing, and the player that he is. And
yeah,
I guess speculation a little bit.
What an opportunity! Yeah, to get to go study this draft, and you know, we'll come to that conclusion here soon enough. There's a lot of work to be done before then, but it's just you know, it's an opportunity to make the roster better. You know, not only do you have the first overall pick, but you're picking early in all the other rounds too. So looking forward to, you know, attacking that process with John and our you know, scouting department and the coaches working really closely together.
Coach Alan Snell, lvsportsbiz.com. What are your key factors for instilling some stability at the coaching ranks here in Vegas for a franchise that's gone through, you know, so many coaches here?
Yeah, well, you know, to me, it's what happens, you know, years in advance is something I'm not thinking about right now. We're trying to put together a great staff of teachers, and we got to get some really good teachers here and coaches, and get us all on the same page, and get our players going in the same direction. That communication is really important. I think if we can put together a great staff here, and get our players up to date on these playbooks and the things we expect of them, and then let the results speak for themselves after that. But the NFL, you have to earn the second game. You know, like this league, if you don't take care of business, then you get chewed up and spit out real quick. And every one of us up here has been through that. So, you know, I'm going to have to earn the right to coach this whole season, to coach the next season. I got to show Mr. Davis that our program is about the right things, and we're developing these players. So I don't take for granted how long I'm going to be here. I know that I have to earn it every day.
Klint, Zeke Trezevan, Sports Illustrated, right here down the middle on SI. I was curious, did you come with the list in terms of building out your coaching staff, a list of offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, other assistants, and how closely do you plan on working with Mr. Spytek in terms of building out your staff specifically?
Yes, definitely have a list of candidates that we're going through right now, and we're going to be working hand in hand on coaches, on the roster, everything. That's part of us being successful is us working together.
Yes, we're going to wrap up with Case, Q, and Callie.
Hi, Coach. Case Kiefer, Las Vegas Sun. You thanked a lot of the search committee and talked about John and Mark Davis, but we heard some reports that you were kind of kindred football spirits with another person in that process, Tom Brady. I'm wondering, assuming that's true, what is it about the game that you guys see similarly, and how will you lean on him during the season?
Yeah, I'm really excited to work with Tom, and he made the mistake of giving me his cell phone number, so he might wish he never did that, because I'm gonna be calling him a lot. What I'm excited about is that we have different offensive backgrounds, how we're gonna, how we can pull ideas from each other. But obviously he's the greatest that's ever done it. And in the interview process, just the passion that he spoke with on all things football just got me excited about the opportunity to work with him. I know, plenty's been said and speculated about, how that relationship's going to go. And that's one of the main draws to come here, is to get to work with him, to get to work with Spy. These are great football minds and if we collaborate the way we're supposed to, then we're going to pull the best out of each other.
And you've mentioned you've already gotten to talk to some players. I was wondering if you've spoken to Max Crosby, and is he a guy you could see anchoring your defense here for years to come?
I did. I got to drink a cup of coffee with Max this morning. Love talking ball with him, and look forward to continuing those conversations. He was the first one in here this morning working out, so that fired me up.
Q Myers, Raider Nation Radio 920, expanding on the Max Crosby conversation. How important is it for him when you talk about silent film and you're talking about, finishing in practice and all that grit? How important is it for him to be, buy in with you immediately to kind of set the tone in the locker room?
Yeah, we want him to be a part of our success going forward. There's no doubt about that. And he's one of the best players in the NFL. So that's a no-brainer to get to work with Max and to see him continue to have success with this organization.
Callie Finn with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Just wanted to ask if it's safe to assume that you'll continue with the play calling and how you manage to balance play calling duties with everything that comes with being a head coach.
Yeah, I do, but I hope you guys know I've never called a game by myself. That's something we do as a coaching staff together. We plan together, we communicate on game day together. Quarterback coach, pass game coordinator, run game coordinator, that is a group effort. So I plan on continuing to collaborate with our coaches and making everybody a part of the game planning process. Whoever sends it into the QB and he says wristband 13, I think anybody can do that, but it's us, how we communicate on game day will be really important. What was the second part of your question?
I think you touched on it, just how you can balance that with everything that comes with being a head coach.
Yeah, well, it's yet to be seen. There's going to be some learning there, but I'm really confident in, the staff that we're going to put together. And, I'm going to need some tough love from Spy to give me some good feedback on what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Have a really good game management plan, and make sure we have those meetings throughout the week so that things don't surprise us on Sunday.
And then just a similar question. Mike McDonald, I think, surprised a lot of people when he said a good day is getting home 30 minutes before his son goes to sleep. I'm wondering, your kids are here. How do you approach that work-life balance with your family and now this really big job?
Yeah. Well, I would say that that's an area that I got to get a lot better at. I got to get a lot better at. So, my family is the most important thing in my life. And, see them sitting here right now in Raiders shirts, it's a great feeling. Really thankful for my wife for getting everybody here. You guys are missing school today. So, but, that's the hard part of this job, is that work-life balance that I'm still working on getting better at.
All right. Thank you, everyone. That concludes our press conference.
All right. Thanks. All right. Thank you.
And there it is, Klint Kubiak, now the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders officially. Raider Nation, you guys are out here to show your support. It's great to see you guys as well. And this is a long time coming to have somebody they're very excited.
All righty. That was good.
Yeah.
I liked everything he said. Seriously. I can't find anything that he said that made me go,
Michael. Yeah. I like all the responses were spot on, and it's cool. What I noticed is when he got asked him when there was a question, he didn't say, "Oh yes, we're going to go over right after. We're going to evaluate everything, and we'll make our decision pretty soon." And this is the thing that I was talking about yesterday. It's like you got to fill up your coaching staff, and that's going to take a while. It's going to be fairly quick, but your mind is going to be concentrating on that. You can only do so much, even if you're multitasking. So that has to be put together first. And then you have the combine, and then you start analyzing tape and really looking into it, meeting with the scouts, and picking Spy Tech's brain, sitting down with Brady, having that conversation. And like I said, they have to all three sit down and have that conversation. Are we really going to go ahead and take this kid, or are we going to go ahead and see what we can get? And I think that's a fair assessment. Whether you're on the military train or not, that's a smart move. You got to analyze. You can't just be like, yes, we're going for that dude because he's a consensus pick. You got to go ahead and really do your homework on it. And I love everything about that. And I think he answered that perfectly, bro.
Yeah. There was some softball, stupid ass questions. There always is. We all are accustomed to that media pool for the Raiders. There's few that asked, the questions that, we were all looking to hear. And, one was, what about Max? What about Brock? He talked about Genty. And then one of the guys asked him about, his staff, how he's going to fill that out and everything. So, I mean, yeah, that might be still a little too early for him to start naming names and shit like that. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit of a process. Hopefully within a week or so, that coaching rank starts filling out, and then we really see, what the mindset of this team's going to be. I like the press conference. I didn't feel awkward. It felt very relaxed from them up there. He looked relaxed. He looked extremely comfortable. And I can't remember the last time I saw a press conference introducing a new head coach where they brought out all these former Raider greats.
Oh, yeah.
I
didn't even get that.
No, I don't think I've ever seen that, to be honest with you. And I know some people in the chat were asking about Mark Davis. Mark was there, but he wasn't sitting up at the table. He was sitting out in the crowd because they did show him early at the very beginning. But I think it's a good thing that he wasn't up there because it's not about Mark. He shouldn't be in the limelight right now. It should be Spy Tech and the coach, because those are the two guys that are going to be ultimately the face of this team right now. Those are the two guys that you want to see all the time, because if they're always together, then you know what? Then they've got an extremely good rapport together, and that's only good things going forward for this organization. I'm impressed. I'm happy with how that press conference went. Extremely.
Yeah, I agree, Brandon, and that's one thing I noticed too, that it wasn't Mark like bringing out the new coach, and I'm glad. I think probably part of that is also Mark's probably jinxing us, like like inadvertently. But you're 100% right, bro. This is not his time. This is the time to really put the spotlight on Spy Tech and Kubiak. This is their time, and for all intents and purposes, this was Spy Tech's hire, and it is. Brady had a hand in it, but ultimately it was mostly Spy Tech. And we have to kind of focus the shift on that, and I liked a lot of the verbiage that Klint used was that I have to give a spot, and he's gonna have to give me some tough love. It's like Klint knows his role. And his role is that, hey, Spy Tech's my boss. I answer to him, and then so on and so forth. And there now it's a proper chain of command, and that's what we needed. We didn't have that for a long time. It's always like, I'm going to go to Mark and always bypass the GM.
Yeah. Well, Leo said he's upset. He said, damn, he didn't say Raiders. So here you go, Leo.
Raiders.
I'm not surprised he didn't, to be honest with you. I mean, that could be a little, that's a little added pressure for him probably to start. But that would have gone a long way. You're absolutely right. Let's see. He said, shake my head. We're about to be the Las Vegas Christians with all this faith and Bible talk. He didn't say he was taking him. He didn't. He took the question head on, but he kind of sidestepped it a little bit and, kind of put a little deflection up and kind of went a little different path, which is fine because I'm willing to bet that before they came out with the press conference, they probably said to him, like, listen, if this question does come up, you could talk about it, but kind of just don't punch it out there that, yeah, this is who we're going to take, or you're really looking forward to it. Just let's kind of skirt around that for now, because obviously they still want to explore their options. Any good GM and owner and coach is going to explore options before we commit to something. So yeah, it definitely felt genuine for sure. What's up, my 2 cents? Ian Rappaport liked the press conference also. Fuck Rappaport. No, I don't mind Rappaport, actually. Let's see. What's up, Troy? Good afternoon, gentlemen. And after what I heard, I was very excited about this. Oh, definitely. They use the legends to gaslight you about all work and needs we have. True. But I've never seen that before where they brought that many out in the press conference. Obviously, I'm sure Brady's there. Just where he was, I don't know. But again, that's a good thing because, everybody again, it's the limelight. Keep him out of it, So I get that. Oh, I knew Eric about that one, giving out the Bibles. Leo's praying too. Are they still talking? Oh, Spytek's sitting with the crew right now. I don't know what he's talking about. But I really, I see good things in the future now.
Yeah, and then I see Joe's comment. Brady was with Max Crosby for what I'm hearing, and we had a lot of the answers. One of the answers, one of the questions answered with Max Crosby, like what's going to happen with him. Kubiak had coffee with him this morning. I think that goes to tell you, and for them to say, hey, I want him to be here. He's going to be in part of us winning. That says a lot. That says a lot.
So they're saying Tom Brady was with Max, from what I'm hearing. But they're working out a plan to trade him. It was good to hear Klint say he has Brady's number and always calling him. Good. Should. Brady, he should be hounding the shit out of him. Brady needs to go. Good afternoon, fam. What's up, Panda? I'm not sure about you guys, but that brought a smile to my face saying he needs to earn everything. Absolutely. I just like the fact that if the contract's true and it's a 5-year deal we're signing him to, that means we're in it for the long haul with them. The team's showing commitment to a rookie head coach on top of that. It's not like I said earlier, it's not a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option or a 4-year deal with a 5th option. It's just straight boom. If that's the case, it's just straight 5 years. We're giving him 5 years to right this ship. And fans have to be patient. That's all I got to say. You got to be patient.
Exactly.
I'm just going to catch up with the chat, and then I'm going to open up the phone lines. The number's there. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, make sure you guys call in. You guys can go ahead and voice your takes. Phone lines are going to be open. So everybody on both channels, we have both streams connected, both channels connected. Make sure you guys go ahead and call in. And go ahead and give us your take. It's going to be one at a time. So be ready. be ready. And if you have any questions as well, we can go ahead and answer them also. But yeah,
All right. So I just opened it up. So if you call that number, I'll be able to answer, and then we'll bring you. You'll be on screen. There'll be no. Basically, it's not going to show you. It's not going to show anything. You're just going to hear it. So it's not going to display your phone number. It's not going to display your name. There's no doxing whatsoever on this, and nobody else is going to know your phone number. It'll be completely hidden. It'll be just your voice that's heard. You won't see anything. I made sure of the way I was doing this so it's not up on the screen, so it's hidden. But if you want to call in, phone number is 401-830-9189. And if you don't get through because someone's already on the line, you can leave a voicemail. We'll listen to the voicemails. We'll play those, actually. So if you got to take, whether it's serious, funny, whatever, I don't care. First phone call.
There you go.
So here we go.
Call
Who's
from
this?
Josh. To accept, press 1. To send.
Hey, you're on with Jeff and Jay. What's going on?
Hey, this is Klint Kubiak. How you guys doing? I actually didn't see the conference because I just had a crown on one of my teeth. But what I wanted to say is that after watching the Super Bowl yesterday, I'm more excited about this than I was before. Because before I was like using two sides of my brain. Like one side said Klint Kubiak's got major potential, so I'm excited for him to come here. The other side said he didn't do too well in New Orleans. There's reasons to question him, so kind of keep a muzzle on your excitement, right? But he called a masterful game yesterday in the Super Bowl, or the other day in the Super Bowl. And he did it against one of the best defensive minds in the country. So after watching that, and that's the biggest stage, so, you know, Mike was throwing his best stuff at Klint, and Klint was hanging in there. So yeah. I really feel like he called a great game on the hardest stage of all to call a great game. And so now I think I'm 100% on board with this now.
Yeah, I know. Get back to his New Orleans Saint thing. From what I've seen and heard and everything, when he first started that season, that's before Derek Carr got hurt, and Derek Carr was on a roll during those times until he got injured, and then they kind of slipped off because they really had no viable backup. That was their problem there. But when he was cooking with Carr, they were doing extremely well. Carr was lighting it up, and then the team just went south after that. But getting to this week's game, this Sunday game, he did exactly what I was hoping to see, and which is what I was looking to see. And this was the adjustments at halftime, and he definitely came out in the second half with that offense, and they turned it around from the first half. Do you feel any different, Jay?
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel any different.
Talking to me or talking to Jay?
Talking to Jay. You might not be able to hear Jay talk. I don't know can you hear him?
Can't hear me.
I can't hear him at all.
Okay.
You can't hear me?
No. I've got to figure out how that works because it's not working.
Okay.
Is he talking right now? Because I'll keep my mouth shut if he is.
Yeah, he's talking right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, and going back, I mean, I agree. And Kubiak found a way and made adjustments to be able to go ahead and break through that Patriot defense. And both defenses were playing at a high clip. They were playing at a high level. And, you know, honestly, the Seahawks didn't score too many points. I mean, they scored 12 points by halftime, and it's all field goals, you know, and in retrospect, that's not a whole lot. Until the second half, they switched it up, started running more ball, and then you starting to see the play action going to work, right? The play action was now you really had to respect because you had
Let me know when he's done.
Running over and putting up, you know, 8-10 yards, almost a carry at a point. So you had that going on, and then obviously once they started marching down the field, they can go ahead and implement certain things to go ahead and ultimately open it up and be able to go ahead and get the score, you know, and start, you know, and start that fourth quarter really opening drive, but the first 3 quarters were pretty boring. I mean, in a sense, if you look at that part, for guys like us, we understand that on the defensive side, it was a pretty good battle.
Yeah.
But to go up against a guy like Mike Grable and
Hey man, I'm gonna get off
figure
just
it
because
out.
this is kind of like weird since I can't hear him.
Yeah, so I got to figure that part out. I don't know how I got to
Oh,
work.
go. Let him go ahead.
It's okay. I got to go to a chiropractor in like a half hour anyway.
All
So
right. Well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. You were the very first call on this setup, so it worked.
yeah, it worked. You just got to
Yeah,
figure
I
out.
was on the show with me, so
Maybe he has to be tied into the same line too. Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. I'll have to research that. But at least it worked to the point where the chat can hear you, and you can hear me at least. So at least you can hear one of us responding to you.
Yeah, and I can hear you.
So
Did you hear what Kubiak just tweeted?
no.
He said he came to Vegas for one reason, and that's the 401 Raider Jeff podcast.
I saw where you put it. Yeah.
All right, man. Let you go.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. What's up, SoCal? What's going on, man? Yeah, so anybody else who wants to call in, go for it. The lines are open, so I got nobody waiting. So come on in. Again, if you don't get through right away, there is a voicemail. You can leave a voicemail and you can listen, and then we'll listen to that. We're gonna play Raffis because Rafa called Sunday while we were on, so I'm gonna play it. Let me know if you hear this, Jay.
Hey, how's it going? Capitan Rafucho here. Ralph is in the building. Well, I just wanted to tell you, I'm just watching the Super Bowl, but I just wanted to tell you, between for the case of Matt Crosby, he's the heart and soul of the nation, so I'm going to make it quickly. But you know what? This right here for this case, when Matt Crosby would say, I'm not going to leave him because he represents for us the shield, the civil and black nation. And I just wanted to tell you one more thing. Salute to everybody else on the chat. Salute to everybody else in the panel. And there was one more thing that I just wanted to tell you. Salute you guys. Raider Nation for life. Let's go.
That was from Rafa from Sunday. I didn't play it yet, so I wanted to play it today. So, hey, this phone thing works. This is pretty cool. I kind of like this now.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, and if you call in and you're watching the show, I mean, obviously you can just keep the volume low. That way you can hear me. Or if you have headphones, put them on.
Yeah, treat it like you used to listen to radio. If you ever called in on a radio show and you had it playing in the background and you called in, what was the first thing the DJ did? Was he yelled at you to turn your radio off because the feedback was awful and the echo. So same thing here. If you're calling, make sure your YouTube is on mute, and you go from there. Trade Max 2 first until someone leaves a message. What? But yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm curious to see who he brings in to help out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And like you said, I think we should start seeing for sure coaches and coordinators being named by early next week. It could be it could be as soon as starting Friday, Saturday, over the weekend. You don't know. Again, we're trying to play catch up. We're behind the 8 ball, and we're trying to get everybody hired and get ready for the combine, get ready for free agency. But it's almost a month away, right? The 11th at 4 p.m. your time it starts. So I think legal tampering starts the 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
Full list up.
But I mean, those are just getting like confirmations and such. But really, like, free agency starts the 11th. So you have these dates that are coming on, and there's a lot of work to do. Just like Kubiak said, there's a lot of evaluation that has to happen, and you're also trying to get prepared for the draft, and it could get pretty daunting and overwhelming really quick, But the cool thing is that he has spy tech that can go ahead and help him along to build his staff together and help him do some of the evaluations. I think more on the evaluation side. I think Kubiak probably has at least the main crop of coaches and coordinators that he wants to go ahead and bring in. It's all about whether these guys become available and they're interested and all that. I think the money part's eventually going to go ahead and work itself out. Not worried about that, but more importantly, if these guys are available to go ahead and come in, obviously we're going to be looking towards who's going to be the defensive coordinator. I think knowing that Kubiak is going to have majority control of that offense, it's really going to be on the defensive side of the ball that we're also going to be looking towards. So it'll be interesting. Could it be Schwartz? Maybe. Could it be Carl Scott? Maybe.
Well, if it's Schwartz, it's going to be a little bit more involved than just hiring him. That's the only downside to that one.
Yeah.
I got the dates up. So the next thing on the calendar for the NFL is February 17th. Beginning on that date, February 17th, through 4 p.m. Eastern on March 3rd, clubs may designate franchise or transition players. So starting in 7 days, they can start tagging franchise or transition players. The combine starts on the 23rd of February, goes to March 2nd. Same place as always, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Let's see, March 3rd is the deadline for tagging players. March 9th is when clubs are permitted to contact and enter the contract negotiations with certified agents of players who will become unrestricted free agents upon the expiration of their contract at 4 p.m. on March 12th. So from March 9th to 4 p.m. on the 12th, we can get into negotiations with free agents.
Yeah, and that's the legal tampering that I was talking about.
Yeah. March 11th is the actual free agency signing period. Begins at 4 p.m. on March 11th. So we're a month away. We're a month away from free agency starting. So it's going to get interesting. The good thing is, I mean, we got him in the house now, so we got him in the building. Yes, he's going to go back to Seattle tomorrow for tomorrow's parade, which is fine. I have no problem with that. Let him enjoy it.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I'm like, you better get that fucking signature before you go back to Seattle, bro. You know,
Yeah,
this motherfucker changing his mind, but
They
like,
pull
hey,
him into Seattle.
sorry, Spike, I'm a, stick around
They
for
better
another.
post a picture of the contract, at least the signature part, so we all know it's legit 100%. He's ours.
They probably did that last night, bro. They're probably like, hey, you know what? Let me have you sign this real quick. It's just, getting the particulars out of the way.
If Spytek was smart, he had it in the car as soon as he got off the plane. You know, you saw the video of him welcoming him off the plane. Hopefully, as soon as he got in the car, he's like, "Hey, here's the contract. Sign it, please, now."
Sign it real quick. This is just the intent.
You're the witness.
This is the intent. Yeah, it could be Carl Scott. I heard also Ejo Avero could be another candidate for defensive coordinator. Yeah. Arden Drude. He's the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks. Maybe that guy could possibly go as well. We don't know. As everybody knows, Mike McDonald calls the defensive plays in Seattle. But I think that he's going to stick around with Mike McDonald for a little while longer before he tries to go ahead and do that on his own.
Don't forget, folks, the phone line is open. It's 401-830-9189. If you call in, we'll answer your call right away, and we'll get you on here. If you got a hot take on anything that you saw today in the press conference, good or bad, are you happy with the move? Do you feel more relieved now that he's actually in our facility and we're ready to, open the door and start this 2026 season? Granted, he is going to Seattle to celebrate, but then he'll be back, and he'll be back by tomorrow night, I'm sure. Who knows?
Oh yeah, they said Thursday morning he'll be back at headquarters, ready to go, get to work. Yeah. He does, man. You can't really waste a moment now, and it's just gonna have to work over the weekend, and just start getting everything in order. That's
Well, again, I mean, think about it. We're in February. It's the 10th of February right now. You've got the combine at the very end of this month, like the last day of the month. It rolls into March, and then free agency starts not too long right after that, basically. A week or so later. So you got from now until the combine, and then once the combine's over, you got about a week or so, a little over a week before free agency starts. So you've got all this stuff that you have to get in order. It's such a small time.
There you go.
Call from.
Roy, Raider Nation.
To accept, press 1.
You're on with Jeff and Jay. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Good. You? What's up, man? How you been?
Good. So, quick. I didn't get a really chance to see the press conference too much because I'm at work right now. But kind of got a little bit of clips of what Spytech was saying right now on the press conference with Marcus Allen, and basically looks like they're going to go heavy on the defensive coordinator. So I'm thinking Jim Schwartz would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that at all. It's just that he's still under contract with Cleveland. He did resign, but they still own his contract. I don't know if it's even a thing to trade coordinators. I don't know how we negotiate with them if it's a monetary replacement, to buy out the rest of his contract. So there's going to be some sort of legal ramifications in there, I'm sure, as to how, and I'm not a legal expert by any means, but I'm sure there's going to be some sort of verbiage that has to be settled in order for us to even think about getting him, because he is still, like, a head coach is different. We could just trade for a head coach if that's the case. But I don't even want to trade for a head coach. I definitely don't want to be dropping draft picks if that's what it comes to for a coordinator.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't
And
think
then also,
you're not going to be able to hear Jay talk, unfortunately, but he can hear you. All right, just to let you know.
yeah. Okay, no problem. And then also with the Max Crosby situation, I think in reality, like he says, he wants to stay. He wants to be a Raider. I think what Jim Glazer's doing is just trying to stir up the pot, because there was nothing really much going on besides the Super Bowl. So I think it was more like a clickbait type thing. So I don't know. I just feel like Max is pretty much still locked in. He wants to be here. That's my perspective of it, from all the interviews and things that they've talked about, So hopefully they can work it out and get him some help on the line, because that's where we lack big time, especially in the secondary as well. But if we can get another couple guys in the draft, maybe in free agency, it looks like we're like the second most capped, if I'm not mistaken, on spending. So I think we can hit at least 2 linemen, O-linemen to help out. From what it looks like, Mendoza is everybody's saying we're going to get, but we just can't really, we don't know what they're going to do, maybe trading back, going, in the draft, get some more capital, I think would be the smarter option, and then go all in on a quarterback next draft, because there's a lot of good ones coming in next year. But again, if Mendoza's available, I like him. He did great. It's just we have nobody to protect him.
Yeah, I mean, I think how to word that. If Mendoza's the guy that they want, as long as we address the offensive line in free agency, then I'm all for it. You know what I mean? If we can't address the free agency for the O-line, then that's an issue. As far as Max, I definitely think it was clickbait, but what kills me is, why did it take Max so long to come out and refute it? Like, shoot it down, saying it's not true. It took him a few days. I mean, if somebody's out there spreading false rumors about me, I want to squash that fast.
Correct.
Think, Jay?
So I mean, look, he did address it. It was like 2 days later.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah, we've been through this carousel. It's nothing new. We just went through it a couple months ago. We with the whole Cowboy thing, right? When the Cowboys.
Other than that, I think with our other, second pick, I mean, I think with our second pick, we should go.
You can't hear Jay talking. Jay was kind of answering your question too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's just the way the system works. That's the only downside to it.
Yeah. No, but other than that, I think they should go with another receiver too, man. We need an elite receiver in the free agency, and then maybe draft one in the maybe later rounds, or if not second pick. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely get that.
Yeah, but I just want to call in and just kind of see what you guys think about it. But you guys have a good day, okay?
Thanks, man. Appreciate the phone call, man.
Appreciate you,
Thank
bro.
you.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem. Let's go Raiders, man.
That's
Go
it, man.
Raiders.
Raider
Yeah.
Nation, let's go. Win, lose, or tie.
There you go. Exactly, bro. Exactly.
All right. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
You too. Yeah, I'm just kind of going trying to answer his question. Max addressed it in a sense where it's just like it's going over the same shit. Nothing new. It's the same thing year after year. Every few months, it's the same thing. We go through this whole coaching trade talk and whatnot, and here we are. I think what happened is that obviously he was pissed, and it's a no fact. He admitted it that he was pissed that he got shut down, and it's rightfully so that that Spytek pulled the plug on that. And for one, he was injured. Two, we're really on the cusp of securing the number one pick. So those two things combined, and then on top of that, the remaining games, they were meaningless. It had no value to the team for us going out and winning it, and him potentially getting hurt or even worsening that injury. So that call had to be made. And I get it. I see from his standpoint, he's just a competitor. He wants to be out there. He wants to be out there with the guys. He wants to go ahead and give it 110% to the team. Very admirable, but I get that the frustration was probably more vocal this time, and he probably vented to a few people, and that's now out there. And Glazer was probably the one that was like, "Well, fuck it, I'm gonna just put it out there." And it's where maybe was there some type of smoke to it? Maybe, like a very small. And I think it was just the frustration at the time. And now, fast forward to this point in time, he's in the building, he's rehabbing, he's rocking the gear and all that. And he's always said like, "Hey, I'm here. I don't want to go anywhere else." But the thing is, and like I said last night, if there was something to happen, it's gonna happen quietly. We're not gonna know about it until it happens, and Spytek's gonna take the blame for it, spinning it. This is for the good of the team. This was in purpose to help our rebuild, yada yada yada. But it would come from Max. Now, do we know Max's true intentions? We don't know. Only Max knows what's going on. Maybe like a couple other people, right? But if it goes down, it goes down that way. And Max won't admit it. It'll be Spytek that takes the fall for it, and rightfully so. And it's probably going to be that way because he wants to save face with the nation, But somebody has to take the blame for it, right? Somebody has to be like, "Hey, it was a mutual parting, or it was in our interest that we need to go ahead and be able to move on, and the offer was just too good, and this is to help our rebuild and whatnot." So we'll see what happens. I highly doubt he gets shipped. I highly doubt that. But
I doubt it too. I mean, it would be nice because let's face it, Max isn't the future. Just in reality, based on his age now, he's not the future of the rebuild on this team. Because this isn't just a quick fix and we're back in it again next year. This is a complete rip this thing down to its roots, and start all over with what we have for talent now. And if it means we have to, move on from some of that talent to help increase our chances to become better for the future, because it's all about the planning for the future on this right now. That's plain and simple. In the future, not meaning this future season 2026, but a couple of years down the line when we're starting to assemble the right pieces to the puzzle, putting them to where they need to go, and we start having the semblance of a competitive team that's moving and winning games consistently. and we're climbing up that ladder. It's going to take time. And again, Raider fans have to be patient. That's the biggest thing I have to keep saying, because we are not a patient group.
You're not.
Not at all. I mean, I've already seen, and I was watching the chat last night, and I'm watching the comments, and I didn't want to comment because I didn't feel like starting any bullshit with anybody. But I'm watching this, and it wasn't on Leo's show. It was something completely different. Because that was a good show last night, by the way. Anybody that missed it, make sure you guys get over to Cheeto Linus's channel. They had him. They had the syndicate back on last night. So you had
most of the syndicate. It was just
you
Chris
had
was
Murph,
on.
you had 805, you had Rundown, you had Leo, you had Severe. Who else am I missing? Is that everybody? But anyway, that was a fire blast. They were on for about 3 hours, and talk about a great group of guys chopping it up, and knowledgeable guys chopping it up. It was a fun watch. But anyway, I'm watching this other show, and I'm watching these people in the chat, and they're talking about, oh, we're gonna win 9 games, we're gonna win 8 games. This is the shit that you gotta stop now. You know, don't expect us to come out of the gates. If it happens, great. It generically, it just organically happens. It happens, okay? But to sit there and stop putting numbers on this shit, you're freaking crazy. I'm looking at, I don't care how many wins we get, and I don't care how few wins we get. I just want to see the team coming together as one unit. You know, I want to see the maturity. I want to see the progression. I want to see all that show. All that show up for this team. I don't care about the wins right now. The wins are the furthest thing from my mind. I just want to see a good product on the field. I can't believe some people are already talking about, oh, we could make the playoffs. Like, are you freaking crazy? Because now you're setting the expectation up here, and if they don't hit that expectation, guess what? You're going to be one of the ones over here going, oh, we need to fire this guy. This guy sucks. Oh, no, that's you that did that, because you set that expectation that high. Not everybody else. That's you. So drop back down to reality. Wake up, smell the black coffee that Max is drinking. And I do believe Mike's right, that I believe that Kubiak drinks probably hazelnut cream in his coffee, because that just, he looks like he would do that. Max is definitely, because Max is a health nut. So straight black coffee for him. No sugar, no cream. I believe that 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you're 100% right, bro. You gotta. This season is not gonna look pretty. Are we gonna win more games? Yes, but it's not as much as you think. We might win a couple more games. Like I said yesterday, the thing that I want is just for us to look competent. Not even competitive, just competent. Like, we're a professional football team out there. At times last season, we did not look like that. We looked like a circus show at times. It was just that bad. Yeah, it was that bad. So first and foremost, we just gotta get the right people in the building, coaching wise, player personnel wise as well. Get that in the building, and then see how that looks like. And we're not gonna get it right year one, because some of these guys, maybe they're not gonna fit into the system, and they're not gonna work out. And we're gonna probably see, I don't know, could be a handful of guys, could be a couple of guys, we don't know, leave, right? We always see this every year. Coaching staff, we're not going to have the problem like we did this year. We might have maybe 1 or 2 coaches leave, and that's a big thing. To fill in 1 or 2 coaching staffs compared to 15, 20, I don't even know how many coaching staffs there is. Yeah, and that puts a whole lot of focus that you normally would have into filling a coaching roster. Now you can go ahead and focus on your actual player roster and evaluations and the draft and combines and all that stuff. And you can draft better because you already have an idea of he already has the idea of what it should look like. It's just about getting the right personnel in the building. That's it.
My feeling is, when you get, especially a rookie head coach, never a head coach before in his entire existence, when you get a new coach coming in like Kubiak is, in my opinion, I think he gets a pass the first year. All right, unless he goes out and murders somebody, and a player at that, then obviously you're firing his ass. But there should be absolutely zero talk about anybody even considering firing him if he doesn't win a goddamn game this year. I don't care. Okay. Next year, different story, because now you've had a full year of his offense running. You know, you've got a year under your belt now. You've got stability in the coaching staff. You got stability in some of the players that you know are going to be here for a while because they're buying into him and his platform that he's running with here. You know, so year two, now I'll put numbers to how many wins I think we can possibly pull. I'm not putting a number to this year. So when we start doing shows where we're talking about how many wins what do you think? I'm not putting a number on it because I'm going in with zero expectations this year. Yeah. I want to see. I don't want to have my whole season stressed on, oh, should we win this? We may win this, we may not win it. Type of. That's I'm looking at it that way. I'm sticking right on the fence here. I want to see what this team looks like going forward after this season. That's where it's going to start to matter. Right now, just let's get on the field and let's just put a decent product out there and show that we're improving. You know.
Yeah, and that's my expectation is for us to have a decent product and look confident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and every team starts regular season 0-0. They will go from there. If Raider Nation members stuck through last season, they can make it through any season. Last season was the worst. I'll die by far. The only thing that saved us is we didn't lose that last game to have the first 15-loss season in Raiders' existence. We're still tied with the amount of losses that we had with Art Shell. And that was bad, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. So we'll see, you know. Yeah, and then you're not gonna have Kubiak come out and pull the shit that Pete pulled last year. Oh, we're gonna win 10 games. You know, you see Kubiak's a different type of dude, you know, and he's very mellow, he's very cerebral, he's methodical on the way he approaches a lot of things. And that's a great quality to have. And Spytex is kind of similar of that cloth as well. He's a little bit Spytex a little bit more outspoken, but I just, to me, that just speaks volumes. It's just he's gonna set when he's gonna get asked that question. What are you gonna think the season's gonna look like? He's like, look, we're just gonna go ahead and put the best product on the field. We're gonna get the right players in the building, and we're gonna go ahead and prepare. And that's really all you can say, you know.
I just don't want to see what we saw at the start of last season, especially actually more the preseason. You know, we had that horrible first preseason game, and then Pete Carroll comes out and says what he says. I don't expect that to see. You're not going to see that shit from Kubiak. Absolutely not. And you're not going to see Kubiak out there running around tackling guys like Pete did. Pete was trying to be their friend. He was trying to be the nice old grandpa in the room. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way when we hired him, but then once I saw the videos of him out there running around on the practice field, acting the way he did, it's like this is a 70-something-year-old man trying to act like he's 30 out there playing around with these guys. It's like, yeah, they're all laughing and goofing off and everything, but that's the problem. It's like, get some seriousness, going here. Because he was doing that shit later in the season too still. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Dude, you've only won one game or two games at the most at that point. Stop this shit, man. Get serious, man. Grow a set of balls and get on these guys. But he couldn't even get his own son in line to do his job. How you expect him to have the respect of the players when the son's not even respecting his father in the position he was in? So I think Pete lost the respect of the players a long time. A long time ago, like early in the season, is my opinion.
I think that's probably true for the younger guys. I think the vets, because there was a lot of Pete guys there, to be honest with you, and you probably saw that from the younger crowd. You know, we heard the stories like they would meet outside of the building to watch game, game film or meet with Spy to like go over game film. Like what the fuck? Like that's your offensive line coach's job to go ahead and do. You're supposed to go ahead and tackle all that during the week in practice when you're meeting in the room, going over game plans and whatnot. That should all be taken care of, and meeting with your individual coaches to kind of drill down certain specifics. But it was just wild for me to hear that. I was like, what the hell? But just kind of goes to show you we're gonna see something totally different, and we're gonna see, and like I said, we're gonna see a lot of quite a bit of probably Kubiak's guys, right, from Seattle. Obviously, we talked about Raheed Shaheed being one of those guys, possibly coming over. I think though one of the offensive tackles for Seattle is going to be a free agent as well. He might be a guy that we possibly pursue as well. So there might be a couple guys that come over from Seattle, and it happens, but I don't think it's going to be as many as you would think. I think it's going to be more balanced. I think he's going to go off of talent as opposed to like guys that he's familiar with. I think he's going to go ahead and get talent and guys that are going to fit the system as opposed to like, hey, this guy just knows how I operate. I'm familiar with him. He can go ahead and run these plays for me at a high clip. That's what we saw with Pete. Guys that were kind of like either questionable in their career, on the tail end of the career. I think we're going to see that different this time, especially if we're going to go ahead and siphon off some of these guys from Seattle. These guys just won the Super Bowl. These are the guys you want to go ahead and siphon off.
Yeah, you want them to bring that winning culture and what it's like to be a champion. I want those guys around our current roster. Arnie does have a question here. He says, who are you most excited to have on our team? Kubiak, Mendoza, Spytek, or Brady? I'll let you go first.
Honestly, Kubiak. Kubiak to me right now is the most exciting member of our team. I mean, we've already had Brady, from the year prior. Mm-hmm. So, Brady is kind of like behind the scenes guy. Spytek, I was happy when Spytek was announced as a GM last year because this guy is a smart guy. He's already done it with Tampa Bay. Was very integral in their draft process. They won their Super Bowl while Brady was in. He was part of that, bringing Brady over. And then now, have it hit, knowing that he was working with Gary Kubiak at his time there. So this guy kind of knows the formula. The thing about it is that he didn't have the opportunity to implement a lot of shit that he wanted to go ahead and do last year, and that's because of Pete. It's hard to go ahead and tell a guy like Pete, who's also won a Super Bowl, who's had many accolades, who's had success in at the collegiate level and whatnot. Like, hey, we're gonna do this process. I'm the boss. It's you have that barrier, you have that hurdle that you have to go ahead and overcome. Not this time around because Spytek chose Kubiak, and now we have the proper chain of command. So we're going to see things differently. We're going to see this. We're going to see a lot of implementation of what Spy wants to do as opposed to like what Kubiak wants to do. I mean, Kubiak's going to be definitely involved, but it's really going to be Spytek leading the charge.
Just real quick, just want to shout out to the 213 we got in the system here watching us on all our respective channels. Appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you guys get over to both channels. I'm 401 Raider Jeff. That's Jay from Just Raiders, baby. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to both of us. Hit the notifications. Give us a thumbs up on these shows today. We appreciate you guys all being here. And, I'm glad we're able to have this opportunity to bring this to you guys. I know you guys could just go and watch the YouTube on Raiders.com and see the press conference that way, but it means more when you spend the time with us watching it. So we enjoy that.
And also, if you go on their feed, you're just interacting with the chat. I mean, now you can interact with us as well, and those questions, those comments that you want to go ahead and have out there, we can show it here. So it's definitely better. Right now, I think they were just interviewing like Howie Long just a bit ago.
You ask questions in that chat, ain't nobody answering you other than other
Yeah,
people.
just the other people. Maybe it gets lost with the other, 1,500 people that are in the chat.
At least there we'll read the comments, we'll bring them up. And to answer Arnie's first question about who you most, it's Kubiak also for me. That's where it's got to start at this point. Especially it's new blood. It's a new take on things. So I mean, this is his team now. This is it. Yeah. This is his team. This is a chance for him to put his thumbprint on this. He's got a lot to live up to based on the last name. That's where I don't envy him in that aspect. Because, will it take him winning a Super Bowl to be looked at in the same light of his dad? Remains to be seen. But that's a lot to live up to. If you think about it, Jay, if your dad was a Super Bowl winning coach and you're involved in coaching football, and all of a sudden you get named as a head coach, and your dad's won a Super Bowl or two, people are always going to say, I wonder if he can be as good as his dad. So you got to remember, it's in that psyche. So he may not come out and say it, but that's hanging above his head thinking about that.
I think you're right. I think it is kind of looming over his head, but for us looking, from the outside looking in, I don't really see it. Well, no, at least for me, I'm gonna speak for me. I'm gonna see it that way because every place that Klint Kubiak has gone to, he's almost had success. I think with the only exception with New Orleans, right? But they started off like 5-0, 4-0, and they were putting up like 40 fucking points per game, and up into the point where Carr got hurt. I mean, they were on a warpath. So you know what he's able to do. He just won the Super Bowl, and that is a lot of Klint Kubiak. Mike McDonald does well because they had a really good defense, but it's just that balance. It's that balance, right? Yeah. We saw what it is to have a really good defense and not such a good offense with the Patriots. They struggled. And let's just give it a being. That's what it was. So you need both. So,
well, as much as that kid Campbell played well throughout the season, he was not very good in the playoffs. But kind of weird, don't you think? He's going up against much better talent in the playoffs because these teams earn those spots. These are much better teams, and he was getting schooled on Sunday. So, their offense took a hit. I mean, they couldn't even run the ball. Their leading rusher was Drake May, and that was because he was running for his life. It wasn't because it was a scripted, planned play, or he just saw it opening. No, he was running for his life because that defense was hunting his ass down. I mean, come on, sacked him 6 times. That's not a good look on your offensive line. But and that's probably why those 2 rookies looked so good throughout the season because they did have a pretty damn easy schedule. I still love being able to tell Pats fans when they say, well, at least we made it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, but one of your losses was to us, the worst team in the league. We got the number 1 pick for a reason, and we still beat you. So remember that. And you lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, they started, that offensive line started declining through at the start of the playoffs.
Yeah, as soon as the playoffs started, he got sacked 21 times in the playoffs. That he broke a record, an NFL playoff record. 21 times he was sacked in the playoffs. That's bad. 6 in the Super Bowl. Holy crap.
And it's and that's expected with when you have rookie linemen like that, where you're putting 2 guys up like right next to each other. You're gonna have that. I mean, hats off to them for them taking them that far, and they were able to go ahead and kind of scrape by during the playoffs. But it kind of goes to show that you can only do so much with rookies. You need to also complement that a little bit with seasoned guys and veterans to really be able to hold that mantle.
He puts this right, and then he goes to your channel. Oh, he's in your channel. He says that in your channel, then he puts this up.
I know, bro.
Fuck.
Come on, dog. No love.
Yeah, and I agree with you. After all the head coaches that we've had, interims included, this is the first time, and this is pre-Gruden too. This goes back to possibly Del Rio, where I felt comfortable with who's coming in. You know, Del Rio had experience with Jacksonville, and you know it wasn't the best, but he still had a good run down there. This one here just feels like it's the right fit. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
I am excited now for this season. I don't want to wish the summer away, but goddamn, is it week 1 yet?
Man, I can't wait for free agency. Free agency. I can't wait for next week, bro. I can't wait for next week when we start getting all the coaching announcements. That's honestly that's pretty exciting. I'm more excited than I was last year.
So Arnie
That's
asked, which free agent should we spend money on? Pickens, Hendrickson, Linderbaum, Jenkins, Lucas, or Walker? Personally, out of that list, Linderbaum first.
I agree.
Pickens,
Well,
Pickens
I assume that's Kenneth Walker that he's talking about. Kenneth Walker is most likely going to stay in Seattle. I don't see him hitting free agency. If John Snyder's smart, he does not let that blue dude walk out of the building. And I'm pretty sure Kenneth Walker wants to stay in Seattle as well. I don't think he really wants to go. Obviously, if they force his hand, then he'll hit free agency. But I don't think that happens. I think Linderbaum is probably going to be your guy. Pickens, I don't know. Well, hang on. My dog's barking. I don't know about Pickens. I think Cowboys are going to try to retain him. Trey Hendrickson, maybe that's a guy that potentially his market value is about 25.5. It depends. If you move off max, that might be a guy that you can go ahead and look at, because we know what Trey can do, and we know what he can't do, but he's still pretty fucking effective. So if you want an answer of replacing Max, that's your answer. Do I think it happens? No, I don't think we move off Max, but you can possibly take. I think with Trey, that's a wish list item. If you're able to go ahead and move some things around, and if the DC, whoever's going to be named the DC, really is high on them and really wants to bring him in, then maybe. But Linderbaum should be your number one focus. Jenkins, I don't know, but Linderbaum should be your number one focus.
Its market value is $30 million.
Ooh.
That's not cheap for Pickens.
Pickens, yeah.
That's a lot of money. And then you figure you're going to have to spend about 20 roughly for Linderbaum, maybe a little bit more, because there will be a bidding war for him. I mean, when he's coming out as one of the best centers that's free in free agency, other teams are going to want to take him or try and get him. So there will be a bidding war for him. And so if we say we bring Pickens in and we bring Linderbaum in, both for their respective market values, 20 mil and 30 mil, there's 50 mil. There's half your salary cap right there in two guys.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't give you a shit ton of money to seriously bring in all the talented guys too. You need to have that balance and that mix, you know, because Walker would require a good chunk of change. He ain't going to come cheap, and he ain't going to come here as a backup.
Raheed Shaheed, because we're talking about Pickens, Raheed Shaheed is going to be a free agent this year. 15.5 mil is the projected market value.
Yeah,
go up a little bit. You're gonna save almost just under half right there. And this guy just won the Super Bowl. We know what he can do. He's talented. He can also kick return for you. Definitely will be motivated to come to Vegas and reunite with Kubiak here. So I don't know. That's a thing to keep an eye out for.
Exos came early for Jeff after that Pat Super Bowl loss. Oh, hell yeah, it did. I was happy. No second choice coaches, no retread back. Yeah, exactly. I don't know about Hendricks. I kind of agree with Kev on this one. I know during the season when it was first being talked about, I was like, maybe if we could finagle it to have him opposite of Max, you know.
That was my dog. Being a lunatic.
Oh, the dog.
Yeah, he's trying to bark at the neighbors.
So I mean, out of that rest of that list, I don't. I'm not sure. But Linderbaum has to be your number one target, unless again, once Kubiak really gets to settle in and finally, look over the roster and figure out what his game plan is going to be for this offensive line. Like, what is he going to want to do with JPJ? That because it's his decision. It's going to be him and whoever his OC is going to be. What's his goal with JPJ? Does he move him back at center? Which I know I've been saying this since they moved him to guard, that I think he's a better guard. But if they think he's better at center, then I'll trust his judgment, and just put him there. The only thing that scares me with him though is the concussion issues, man.
I think this is where you probably would have to like start talking about wearing the guarding cap.
Yeah.
It helps a lot, and you're seeing a lot more dudes like rock it, and I think it's a good thing. I don't know how that affects the head mobility or the vision. I think it might. I think probably some guys don't wear it because it affects the head mobility. Maybe it's just like an added thing. I think it might be something you just have to go ahead and get used to. I don't know.
I think what you just said is right. It's a getting used to phase. I thought I saw when they first started using them, because that was the question some people were asking, is how much does that thing weigh? And supposedly it's you don't notice a difference in the weight. Like it doesn't add a lot of weight. It's like extremely light.
Well, it's foam, right? It's like kind of like a foamish type of material, I believe, that you just wear on top of the regular helmet, and then they'll put like another thing on top of it.
Obviously I'll be able to go back there 40 years from now, go to the reunion with the Super Bowl ring. That's very special. Yep.
I know this is the second time I've heard you bring up Kenneth Walker, and obviously the performance in the Super Bowl was pretty amazing. But of course, Raider Nation hears that, and we go, well, hey, we got a guy named Ashton Genty that's pretty good, that we think has a lot of upside just in his second year. Is it easy to assume that because you focus so much on the run game, that Ashton Genty is going to be a major focus of whatever this offense develops into?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be easy to assume no matter what team he's on. He's a special talent. So look forward to working with him. And, any success that he's going to have is because we have, we're on the same page as an offense. We give him we give him a great offensive line. We give him, a great quarterback to get in and out of the checks he needs to get into, receivers that are going to block. So,
talking my language.
He's a tremendous athlete.
Yeah,
you can see that coming out of the draft last year. But his success will come with team success.
All right. Hey, you played DB in college, right?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you
Oh
go.
man,
DB connection.
that's right. I just thought we was here. You talked all that offense coordinator. That's right. That's
You were
right.
giving wide receiver vibes.
So, when you see the game, what lens do you see it? Do you see it from a defensive back perspective, or have you been able to change that lens?
Yeah, I think I'll always see it that way. See it from the back end. When you're, in the pass game wise, when you're thinking about what's going to give them problems, that's kind of where I would start putting myself in that situation. Now that's playing Mountain West football as opposed to these.
It's okay. It's okay.
These defenses that we see in the NFL is a whole different league. But I've always, felt like I had it from a defensive perspective.
All right. Yeah. So when you're going through the interview process, because you were able to go back to Seattle, you did a hell of a job. You're able to go back to Seattle. So when you're going through the interview process as a head coach, you usually look at the roster, I'm assuming, and you say, okay, these are some of the guys that I'm excited to work with. When you looked at this roster and where you're interviewing, did you say, hey, a lot of similarities to this roster, especially offensively, is kind of some of the same stuff we do in Seattle?
Yeah, it's easy to turn the tape on and see Brock and see Genty, and I know Colton got hurt, but you see some talented guys up front, offensive line wise. It's a very talented roster, and everybody's got talented players. The main thing I just see is the opportunity to be here in Vegas for the Raiders, and we're going to have some capital to go get some players. We're going to have high draft picks, and it'll be really important that we hit on those guys and we develop them.
You bring up Brock Bowers. There's also another tight end on this team that was a second-round draft pick, and Michael Mayer as well. And when you look at what you did with Seattle, you guys didn't use 12 personnel a ton, but when you did, you were one of the most successful in the league, according to PFF. Do you see Brock and Michael Mayer as two guys that you really could feature in 12 personnel?
Yeah, we got to get our best 5 eligibles on the field. So whether that's 12, 11, 22, I love it. It's important to mix it up. Obviously, those are 2 really talented tight ends. Excited to work with them. And I think no matter what personnel we're in, just go back to who are our best players? How do we get them the ball? How do we put them in the best, position to be successful?
Relationship-wise with the coaching staff, I've heard a lot about the Seattle group of coaches, player personnel people, Saints, everywhere you've been. It seems like you guys create like a really cool bond as far as coach is concerned. Where does that come from? And do you think that's going to be important for this organization?
Yeah, the best teams are connected. You have each other's back, and that comes from many hours in meeting rooms together. Try not to separate as much. We like to, meet together a lot so we're all on the same page so that we can all we can get praised and corrected together in front of everybody. So I think that's really important, and because it just makes you a little bit more of a cohesive unit.
What's something from this season, because you guys obviously won it all, what's something from this season that you can come in here and bring from the Seattle building that you guys kind of did this year that you're going to bring in to this building?
Yeah, to me, Mike McDonald, he had a really connected team. He did a great job of bringing, offense and defense together, special teams coaches and defensive coaches together. He really wanted us to get to know each other at a level I've never been a part of, as far as, we're taking time out of our install meetings to go in small groups and get to know each other better. So I think that was a huge part of our success and great vision by Mike.
Klint, I know you try to keep your kids out of the spotlight, but they might be point guards or shooting guards in the NBA because Baron Davis is playing with them right behind us. I don't want to give you parenting advice. I don't know if that's the best person to have with them right now, but they're going to have a heck of a jumper, a little bounce, as we call it, in the NBA if they keep playing with them. Have you had a chance to meet Baron yet, or any of well, your kids know him, and
no, I have not.
There you go.
They out there having a good old time. I love it.
Baron's a dad, so he's working out there with you. Tell me a little bit about Fernando Mendoza. I know as we talked to John Spytek, it's not a guarantee that you take the best quarterback just because you have the #1 pick. There's a lot of things you could do with that pick. But just your observations as an offensive-minded coach, even though you were a defensive back when you played, and watching what you saw in the national championship in Indiana.
Yeah, my exposure is very limited. I saw him play the national championship game. I saw the interviews he's given after those games and how team oriented he is. But I look forward to getting to know the player better. But obviously a really talented guy with a bright future, and we'll see where he ends up. But we got a lot of work to do to get to know him before that time comes.
Yeah. You've been such an incredible guy as far as being able to develop and mentor quarterbacks, different offensive coordinators. What are some of those things from all those programs you've been a part of that you're able to bring to the quarterback position?
Yeah, I think just a really detailed way of going about our business with our quarterbacks and setting expectations early, harping on progressions. Harping on footwork, harping on fundamentals, progressions, footwork, and fundamentals. If we can be great at those things, then we have the foundation to go out and be successful on Sunday.
They say y'all got $100 million in free agency.
Uh-oh. I knew it was going to come, Coach. Get ready.
Like it's his money.
Like
he's got it in his bank account. He's just going to go spend it where he wants to spend it. He wants you to spend 50 of it on a #1 receiver because the receiver wants to give a little love to the wideouts.
No,
go ahead,
he
JJ.
wants to be in the program.
He actually wants you to spend some on him. He's been stretching and working out.
Get my question out. If you need me, red zone only, man. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go, man. No, but we're happy to have you, man. Congrats.
Yes.
Man. You go enjoy that parade tomorrow, man. Celebrate, because I know that's a heck of an accomplishment, man.
Yes,
But
it is.
Congratulations. Welcome to Raider Nation.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right. Klint Kubiak,
All right.
coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, coming up next, we're going to take a break. Speaking of
All right. What's up, James? What's going on? What do you got plans to shore up the O line? My plans? Get a better offensive line coach, first of all. The good thing is Bennett supposedly is going to be coming over with him from Seattle, so that in itself right there is a great start. Hopefully, the perfect start, to be honest with you, is getting that offensive line in the right position. You know, getting guys in the right position, and then whatever we do in hold on. This is... Hello? Stupid phone thing. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You know, again, free agency is going to be starting really soon here. It all depends on what we do in free agency. You know, if we can get the right veteran leadership of offensive linemen in here to shore that up. You know, I think with the right coaching, you're going to see better results from Caleb Rogers, Grant. I think you'll get JPJ back on track with this offensive setup. Colton Miller, provided he stays healthy and doesn't get injured, I think we'll be fine with him. Glaze is the big question mark right now. Was it his inability to progress last season, or was it ultimately all the coaches? You know, that's my take on Glaze. I think he just regressed so badly compared to the year before. And it showed big time on the field, and just he couldn't stop anybody. He got burned so bad this year. In 2024, he looked good, you know. But when the whole offensive line regresses as bad as they did last season, that's totally on the coaching. And now we know about Brendan Carroll and how that all went, so it makes sense as to why they were that bad. Something about Mark Davis. Let's see. So he says, Albert Martinez from Albert Sports SF here spoke to Mark Davis about Mendoza being number one pick. He replied, yeah, most definitely. He won national championship. Of course, I want to see him in Raiders uniform, but it's not up to me. It's not up to me. It's the general manager's decision to decide in April. All right. If Mark Davis said that, then did you get that from Ja Raider too?
I don't think so.
You can just bring it up this way.
No.
Pop it up.
Shout out to Ja. Appreciate you, okay.
So from Albert Martinez, he spoke to Mark Davis about Mendoza being number one pick. He replied, yeah, most definitely. He won a national championship, of course. I want to see him in Raiders uniform, but it's not up to me. If not, general manager to decide in April. So that's a good thing, I guess. Like Ja Raider said, you know, it's Davis letting the GM do his damn job, which is a good thing. What's up, Tanner Jack?
So Tanner. Yeah, like I said, I think they have to have a sit down and really discuss this intimately between all three of them and weigh pros and cons, and see if this kid, for one, is going to be able to go ahead and do it at this level. 2, is going to be able to fit in the system, and 3, is this kid going to be a long-term thing? What are the drawbacks? Could we have potentially a situation where there might be a character issue that might be a distraction? Obviously, we know that that's probably highly unlikely. So that box might be checked pretty quickly. I'm not too worried about that. And, then they can make that decision. Either way, this is a good way how he answered it, because you also want to go ahead and not give away your hand. So we're going to go all in on Mendoza, right? You kind of also want to dangle that carrot to leave the door open in case they want to go ahead and trade out of that number one pick. So,
yeah.
So it's a good move. This is chess, not checkers, y'all. So I don't mind that little head games, mind games that these guys are going to play, and you have to play it. You have to. You know?
Well, yeah, because you don't want to come right out and say, "Oh no, we're taking Mendoza." You don't want to. You don't want to show your hand right now, basically. Keep everybody in suspense. Granted, yeah, I know we could make the pick now for all we care. We could come right out and say, "Yeah, we're taking so and so," But let that just stew out there for a little bit, so it gets these other teams thinking, like, man, we really could throw something together and see if we can move up. And I'm glad they're not coming right out and saying, "Oh yeah, we're seriously thinking about Mendoza." No. So Cody says, Raiders fan since day I was born, 38 years. Anybody got me beat? Can I get a shout out? Number one Raiders fan from Virginia. Well, shout out to you, Cody. And
Hey, shout out to you, brother. Salute, man.
I don't have all this gray hair because I'm a little older. See, when you were 38, so you're 38, so yeah, dude, I got you about like almost 20 years. So yeah.
Damn, I'm even older.
Huh?
I'm even older than him. He's 38,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Would you move Glaze to God? Yeah, I would. Because I don't know if I want to trust him at tackle anymore.
Yeah.
I would totally be all for moving him to guard. 100%.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I was hearing everything. I just had to take care of the kids real quick. But I think with Glaze, it's just it's both. It's a technique type of thing, but it's also coaching. Could we see a change in Glaze this year? 100%. We could definitely see a change. Now, would it actually happen? We don't know. Could there be a strong possibility he'll do better at guard? There could be a strong possibility of that too. So ultimately, it's up to the offensive line coach, whoever that's going to be. You said Benton was possibly going to come over, and Kubiak for them to decide what's going to be best for this offensive line. So or they can go ahead and upright just replace the position with somebody else. They can get somebody in free agency, or they can draft somebody who's a couple rounds better than Glaze. That could definitely happen. So and Glaze could be shifted to death. It could totally happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Like Kev says, Glaze coming off the bench. I mean, that is a possibility, 100%.
And it's not a bad thing either.
No,
We're not saying he's talented. It's just somebody's just more talented.
Let's put it this way. If he's coming off the bench, which means he's a depth player, that's already light years ahead of what we had last year sitting on the bench in case somebody needed a break or whatever reason. He's already better than whatever we had on the bench last year. So we're already building depth if that's the case. So if we bring in a free agency, say we get Linderbaum and we get another offensive tackle, okay, and maybe even another guard in free agency, you don't know what we're going to pull in. And it gets to the point where, well, these guys are better than Glaze, so we're going to put Glaze on the bench. He's going to be a backup now. And one of those guys needs a break, or he got injured in this game and need Glaze to come in and finish off the game. That's way better than what we had last year. I would trust him coming off the bench 100%. 100%. That we had nothing last year. Our best off the bench last year was what? Let's see. Forsythe, because we only put him in because Miller got hurt. That was a last-minute fix. Kappa was a free agent move. Kappa was the only true free agent we brought in on the offensive line prior to the season starting, or training camp starting. That still blows my mind that we. Cody asked, should we trade Crosby for an offensive star? I want draft picks. If we're gonna trade him, I want draft picks.
That's what you'll probably get.
Yeah,
to be realistic.
What's up, Danny? He had been a fan since 70s. Oh, so you're right around me. I am 74, 75 season in that range.
Hey.
Oh, you're welcome, Cody. Oh, Jason's in the house. Never tell a person a car is for sale. If they want it, they will overpay. Correct. Absolutely. Let's see. What's up, Darkside? What's going on, my guy? We're actually about ready to hop off of here. We've been on for just over 2 hours, so we did have the phone lines open. We had a couple of phone calls. I appreciate the people that did call in. It worked. I still got to work on how they can hear other people on the panel with me. But this will be a regular thing on my Friday night show.
There you go. There you go. That's what's up.
So, and again, anybody wants to call the number at any point and leave a voicemail, I will listen to those voicemails on Friday nights. So the phone number is 401-830-9189. The line is always there. So you can leave a voicemail and I will listen to it live on the air. I'm not going to listen to them ahead of time. I'll save those for that show. But you will see Jay and I on tomorrow night, Wednesday night, on the Raider Connection, along with, as you see it scroll along the bottom there, along with Cheeto Linus and LB Raider 10. And obviously we'll be covering this big time tomorrow. Tonight I will be on with Cheeto and Raider Will from Silver and Black Podcast for the Most Notorious Podcast tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Jay, what else you got coming up? Anything?
No, that's it for me. Just for tomorrow, the Raider Connection, and then obviously if there's any news happens, if somebody gets named, like coordinator gets named, then I'll probably jump on for a short show. So that's why make sure you guys go ahead and hit those notifications on both channels. You don't want to be left out in the dark. If news drops, we go on. You already know. I said this yesterday. I'm like, we're going to go on for the presser. This is a big moment for Raider Nation. This is we waited for this guy for a while now. So we finally got him, and let's go ahead and celebrate for sure.
Yep. No, I'm glad you and I did this today because this was a perfect setup today doing this. This was fun.
Yeah.
I liked this.
Sure.
And it was an enjoyable press conference. It really was. It felt good. I'm smiling about everything for the first time in a long time. It's like I can see the tunnel's long as hell, but man, there's a little pinhole at the bottom, way down there that's just starting to show a little light. So, yeah, Martinez, we actually played it when he was sitting down with them on the field. Yeah, I like the way he talks. I like the way he handles the questions. I'm excited. So, what's up, Darren? What's going on, guys?
Okay.
Yeah, it was a great press conference. We're about ready to get out of here, though. So, again, you'll catch me tonight. You'll catch Jay and I together tomorrow night on the Raider Connection. And my no huddle on Friday night. I don't know what's up with Thursday night yet, Whitney. I got to talk to him if he's going to be going to Disney World or Knott's Berry Farm or wherever he decides to go this week on a Thursday night. So, I don't know. Is Disney on ice in town?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he'll figure something to do.
Yeah, Darren, we've been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes, brother. Sorry. But I'll be on tonight. So I'll see everybody. Everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Jay, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate
Thank you for having me, man, for sure.
No problem, man. That's always the way. And stay safe. Go Raiders, baby.